A good thought is a seed of great innovation that transforms people's lives for the better. This saw the innovation of a perfect blend of ancient Ayurveda with modern science to make the world healthier and happier. This was the foundation of Shri Shri Tattva. Shri Shri Tattva makes more than 350 products across personal care, food, healthcare, and home care categories. These products are inspired by the science of life, Ayurveda, and are well researched by our team of experienced doctors. Our 100% vegetarian products are tested for their safety and efficacy. Our facilities in India have earned the most prestigious certifications for manufacturing, quality, and control. This is what makes these products apt for you. These daily use Shri Shri Tattva products and services like pulse diagnosis technique, Nadi Pariksha. Wellness centers and spas help you enhance your complete. Happy to connect with you all. Shri Shri Tattva, just purity. Good thought is a seed of great innovation that transforms people's lives for the better. This saw the innovation of a perfect blend of ancient Ayurveda with modern science to make the world healthier and happier. This was the foundation of Shri Shri Tattva. Shri Shri Tattva makes more than 350 products across personal care, food, healthcare, and home care categories. These products are inspired by the science of life, Ayurveda, and are well researched by our team of experienced doctors. Our 100% vegetarian products are tested for their safety and efficacy. Our facilities in India have earned the most prestigious certifications for manufacturing, quality, and control. This is what makes these products apt for you. These daily use Shri Shri Tattva products and services like pulse diagnosis technique, Nadi Pariksha. Wellness centers and spas help you enhance your complete. Happy to connect with you all. Shri Shri Tattva, just purity.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, doctor.
Good evening.
You guys are good?
Yeah.
How are you?
How are you?
Great thing. I'm good. Thank you very much. I think we're gonna start. I just want to cross check with the admin team. We are okay to go. Yes, perfect. I would like to say, give a warm welcome to all our viewers today. Good evening. Salam alaikum. My name is Mrinal Kimchi, and I'm very excited to be here to discuss something that we all talk about, but may or may not have the right knowledge about. So here we have two great doctors, Dr. Ratna Harimath and Dr. Madhu Harihar, who's going to guide us a bit through. They are pioneers in Ayurveda, and they've dedicated their lives to this, as well as they are associated with Shri Shri Tattva Oman, which has been present in Oman for the past 11 years. Before we start with all the formalities, a big thank you to Rafiq. It's one of Oman's largest online retail supermarkets. They have more than 8,000 products. They also have Shri Shri Tattva products if anybody is interested to buy. They are the most convenient, easy. Everything is available on the app. It's so nice to see. It's so nice that they take care of their products with the utmost safety, and at the earliest convenience, they make sure that they're delivered to your doorsteps and every hygiene is taken care of. So thank you again, Rafiq, for supporting us. And we really appreciate your encouragement towards that. I would definitely tell the viewers, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to put it on our chat. As soon as we finish, we will definitely try our best to answer all the questions. If at all we have missed out on anything, we will definitely email you, as your name will appear there. So we will try our best to answer. And please feel free to contact us at the clinic. We are happy to answer your questions as well. Dr. Ratna, ladies first, shall we shoot? I already have a question. I think somebody has a video issue. We can see each other. I'm hoping you can see yourself as well.
Yeah.
But we will start with Dr. Ratna. I'm going to start with the buzzword, nutrition. Everybody talks about nutrition. Everybody talks about diet. This lockdown has made us go the either way. Either we've focused on nutrition, or we have done something which is called cook. We've only cooked and eaten. So this super word that is around nutrition, could you please tell us what is actually nutrition and what is the right diet a person should follow?
Hello all, good evening, and welcome to the world of Ayurveda. If you know a slightest idea of Ayurveda, and if you actually follow natural living or anything like that, you will understand there is, sorry to say that, but there is nothing called as right diet, because it is completely individualistic. Because it depends, like if we follow the same cuisine, like if I make anything, one preparation at home and serve everybody, it will digest in a different ways in different people. So even the identical twins have a different kind of mechanisms in them. So it has been already studied and tested. And nutrition, yeah, it's a buzzword, but it, like rather than using it as a fad, it's better to use it with a valuable quality what it
Yes.
actually gives us, because
Yes.
nutrition is nothing like what the market says, like a highly nutritive or something. Nutrition is something which is always there when, like, if you see the cultural background or the traditional background which everybody of us, wherever we come from,
Yeah.
our roots actually follow those kind of a nutritive diet or cuisine in regular day-to-day life. So for
Yes.
example, I'll tell you, because I come from India, so I'll tell you the northern diet, from the Indian northern diet is completely different from the southern diet. Eastern Indian diet is completely different from the Western Indian diet. So it is because the landscape and Ayurveda happened 5,000 years ago or more than that. So you can actually think the landscape which was 100 years before, it is not right now. So, but the principles stand. The principles which are told in Ayurveda, like observe the nature and observe your own body nature and actually eat according to that. You have to follow Desha, Kala, Rutu. It is what is called in Ayurveda. Desha means the region where you stay.
Yes.
Right now, we are staying in the region which is hot, and
Yes.
we are drenched in sun. So that is the region where we are staying right now. Kala is summer. We are staying. This is the summer season. Where I am staying right now. I know in India it is a rainy season, but here it is summer.
Monsoons. Yes.
And even in the Europe, it is the summer. It's the summers actually over there as well.
Yeah.
So, and then the time of the day when you are eating. So these all factors add, and that's the reason why many nutritional fad diets, they don't work exactly the same way for everybody, because we all are different. We need to understand that point, and we need to follow. Actually, you need a guidance in that, and Ayurveda actually do help you in understanding yourself. When you understand yourself, you empower. It's called as food literacy. So
That's an amazing word. That's something new that I have learned today. Food literacy. I think it's amazing. Yeah.
yeah, so you need to have that. So first understand yourself, then you will be able to. Ayurveda doesn't say no. Like there's a myth, because Ayurveda, people say there will be a lot of restrictions and all that. No, Ayurveda doesn't say no, but it teaches how to eat, how you
It's like a
can,
way of life sort of a thing,
yeah.
right?
So how to mix it and eat
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
So I would definitely encourage the viewers to go to the clinic. Both the doctors are qualified as well. You know, Ayurveda will help you with your nutrition as well. Would that be correct for me to say that?
Yeah, sure. All are
Perfect.
welcome.
That's amazing. Dr. Madhu, I go to you quickly. I need a 1 minute thing, a good and a bad of intermediate fasting. We've spoken a bit last time about keto diet. To the viewers who had joined us last time would know about this. But if you can talk, because intermediate fasting is another buzz which is everywhere. People want to do intermediate fasting. They think it's the easiest way to lose weight. They think it's the most healthiest way to lose weight. And they think it's suiting at anybody at any age with preconditions or not. Preconditions means what I'm referring to as maybe you're having a hypertension or a diabetes or XYZ. So basically, that is an intermediate fasting. People think everybody should lose weight. This is the easiest way. And there's another question I'm going to shoot at you. So I'm going to give you a double buzzer, which is an ideal time to have breakfast, to have lunch, and to have dinner. And if you suggest if we need more meals than that. So there is a double whammy going on there.
Okay. I think Ratna really briefed it out what is Ayurveda, so that it is a very individualistic approach. So for example, if you go to the shop for shoes, we all know that okay, 7 size is for everybody. Okay, say that 10 people have a 7 number size approximately, right? But still, we go and we put our shoe in that particular, like a foot in the shoe, and we try ourselves out. Why? Because even though the number belongs to the universal number, there is always plus or minus subtle adjustments we feel for ourselves. Correct? So
yes.
The same way with the food and the nutrition and the trendy words of the different type of diets and everything. So what we generally know it as that the man is what he eats. but Ayurveda goes one step ahead, and it tells that the man is what, not only he judges what he eats, what he digests. There is a difference. So the digestion and the metabolism is very individualistic, and the one man's food can be a poison for the other one in a
Yes.
different quantity and a different quality
Yes.
itself. So we need to understand this first. And then coming to the intermittent fasting, before I go into that, I would like to brief the definition of the good food in Ayurveda. The whole chapter, how to eat, what are the food sources in terms of vegetable and the rice and the wheats and cereals and pulses, etc., etc. It's all mentioned very clearly in the classics. Okay. According to that, the right time for any individual to eat food is when the previous meal is digested very well. So this is the
Okay.
first thing to pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it may be a different for a different person. The thin people like me, people may have to have a little bit of a smaller meal regularly. Means their duration of hours would be around about 6 hours or 7 hours or something like that. Okay.
Okay.
And the kapha people, where we have very slow digestion and all, they might not feel hungry for more than 12 hours, 16 hours, right? So it is very different from different individuals. Like we know that vata, pitta, and kapha. I think I hope all our viewers are aware of these words. So vata is a specific combination of 5 different elements in the body, which results into your body nature. So air and the space element, the fire and the water element stands for the pitta, and the kapha stands for the earth and the water element. So I mean to say, these 3 people in different categorically, they have a different vulnerability for the hunger and the appetite. Okay, we need to address that accordingly.
Yeah.
So when I say when the previous meal is digested, so this number of intermittent fastings fits a little bit closer. That's the
Yes.
reason many people are getting attracted to it and also getting benefited with this, knowingly or
Yes.
unknowingly. But some people do have a complaint of acidity. When what I'm talking, pitta
Yes.
people, they cannot stand a long duration of time. If you forcefully put them on 12 hours of fasting, definitely they will have a lot of issues with the digestive system, and they will have the acid refluxes.
I think pressure. I think a lot of people suffer with low blood
yes.
pressure as well. Yeah.
And mainly with the ulcers and all, they are prone
Yes.
for all kind of issues like that. So the bottom line is, eat when you're hungry. That's it.
What do you do when you're hungry all the time? There are some people here who are hungry all the time.
It's really a very good question. Again, when we talk about Ayurveda, we need to understand that Ayurveda is meant for 2 different people. One you're completely healthy. One you're not unhealthy. I mean, when you're already having certain issues with the diabetes or sugar or anything like that. So we need to really assess where we are fitting in. We might think that I'm healthy, but if I'm having a constant hunger, that could be a sign of unhealthiness. So
Other
anything,
issues, underlying
yes,
issues.
there are subtle issues which we may not be appreciated in our day-to-day life. So we need an expert advice over there. So then the doctor, a qualified person, will tell you whether which category you belong, and definitely there onwards we can have an easy path.
I have a question. This is a general knowledge. You could probably tell me that this is wrong, but there is always a bracket in between, where breakfast, a bracket for lunch, and a bracket for dinner. Specifically, as the sun affects us a lot, our digestion also goes parallelly with it, as we are no different from nature. So I know it, of course, it depends on your vata, pitta, and kapha, and everybody has a permutation combination of it. But in general, if I had to quote unquote a time, would you recommend any time that, okay, avoid breakfast beyond this hour, or avoid lunch beyond this hour, and keep tentatively this much gap between your each meal? Would you suggest any one of them, so that it's easier for all our viewers who may or may not know vata, pitta, and kapha yet?
Yeah, as I said, see, first thing is we listen to your body. Okay, if somebody is waking up at 4 o'clock, we get a lot of people asking this question. Like, I wake up at 4. I cannot wait till 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock for the lunch. The breakfast time. Correct?
Yes.
For them, there are certain things which are chosen to have, 1 or 2 dates.
Yeah.
Just an example. So what I'm saying is,
yes,
depending on their individualistic approach, the good time. If you're assuming that somebody is waking up at 6 o'clock, so when you wake up, you give at least 1 to 1.5 hour time So finish it off. Then maybe by 7 to 8 is a good ideal time for the breakfast. But it can change. It can be changed according to the person whose need is office timings, school timings.
So it's
Everything
not
is
necessary that you wake up and you eat first. You
absolutely,
need to give a
absolutely.
little bit of gap,
Give a bit of a gap.
at least an
That's the
hour,
one
hour
thing.
and a half, as
Yeah,
you
you
said.
definitely see there will be a cue for hunger. You are feeling that
Yes.
hunger is starting up. So that's the one cue, and immediately nobody wants to eat in just to waking up from the bed, right? So at least give a 1.5 hour gap. Then eat your small limited breakfast depending on your how the day pans
Yes.
out, and then the lunchtime is pretty much in that 12 to 1:30 maximum. We call it
Okay.
as pitta time, where the
Yes.
clock is also
Yes.
aligned with that particular time, so where the secretions are more aligned with the nature. So that's a good time
Yes.
to have a pretty much good lunch. And then in the night, like early before the sunset is ideal time, but we cannot practice it
Every
each day.
day. Yes.
So maybe before 7:30 would be not more than 8, I would say. It's an ideal time to have a good dinner. So in fact, finish it by 7:30. It's a good time.
So you keep a decent gap before you hit the bed, basically.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
So
Yes, yes.
that's so basically no late night parties. Not that any one of us are doing it, but definitely not late night dinners. Not 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Late served meals are a big no
As
for
as
sure.
as Ratna said, Ayurveda always have a solution for those kind of things also.
I
That's one good
agree,
news.
but this is an idealistic scenario.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Madhu. I'm going to go back to Dr. Ratna, and I'm going to talk about the tea and coffee. As we've spoken generally about what digestion does, what is the so-called ideal time. Of course, again, I'm going to say it depends on your body type. But I used to believe this for the longest time until you bust my bubble with the right direction. So I wanted to know that if you go out for a meal or if you're at home, in a general culture, it's always offered after a meal, would you like some tea and coffee? And the belief is if you have green tea or if you have jasmine tea or if you have black coffee, it'll aid your digestion and you will be able to digest the food that you have eaten. Yes or no? Like, would you say, like, I would say pro or con? Like, that's what I would like to ask.
See, after if you're having a heavy meal, actually it's a no. The answer is no, because Ayurveda doesn't even say to drink water after meal. Many people
Oh, wow.
say don't drink water immediately after meal. You need to give a gap. So Ayurveda what it says is you need to drink water to moisten your food, which is going inside. After that, the body takes care of it. And
Okay.
tea and coffee, especially even green tea, black coffee, or the black tea, whatever is taken, it started in mid like 1800s, like
Yes.
as a societal thing to do,
Yes. Cultural. It's like the
cultural thing. Yeah,
finishing off.
it
Yes.
was nothing to do with the health. Because what happens is when you eat heavy meal above your capacity, you feel drowsy, you feel sleepy, you feel tired. And to break that thing, because you have to be socially available, so people started to take these hot beverages like tea and coffee to make themselves awake, or because these are stimulants, so they help them to stay awake. So this became a culture, and they started telling after a meal, if you have tea, coffee, it is beneficial. Actually, it's not beneficial, rather it goes other way down. What happens is when we have tea and coffee after a heavy meal, what you are doing is you're eating a really good nutritious food. If at all you are eating a nutritious food, it actually, tea and coffee actually stops absorption in your body by 80%. So all the
Oh, wow.
nutrition food, whatever you have eaten, 80% it is not absorbed in your body. So you will start having the mineral deficiency to begin with, iron, zinc, calcium. Like you will not get any of those. So it will
Wow.
lead to the malnourishment, the third kind of a malnourishment in the body, where you will
Yes.
be nutritionally deficient and you will start having the symptoms. And again, the cycle begins of cravings, because you are nutritionally deficient. So the craving starts, sugar cravings or the fatty food cravings. It all begins with the deficiency in the body.
Basically, you're just jumping in the loop of getting your health and your
Yes,
digestion going.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, wow. This is like a big this is a big myth that has been, my bubble that has been busted. There was the longest time of my life that I would have hot water after your meal, and add whatever you want, and it helps you with digestion. But this is like amazingly clear, and this is very valuable. Thank you, Dr. Ratna. Dr. Madhu, I'm going to come back to you.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions again lined up for you. People have this myth that when you wake up in the morning, you should have water immediately from a copper flask, or something that looks, they say if it's the water stored overnight in a copper flask, it helps you flush your gut out, and it's easy. It helps you in your bowel movements, and XYZ, it aids your digestion. Would you say that this is true? And does it have any benefit? And I'm also going to curve in another question with it, as we are in the morning routine. I think one of the viewers has asked, is it good to drink tea and coffee early morning when you wake up, which is a very cultural thing that we have. So I'm going to ask both of this together to you.
Okay. The first thing is there is a mentioning of usage of the copper vessels in Ayurvedic literature. And
Yes.
Owing to the the positive effects of these the copper ions, it's a very trace element, but it is still a better element to having an good impact on the health. Yes, it is mentioned in classics, but the quantity is, again, it should not be more than 1 or 2 glasses. It's not that somebody is drinking the whole day with the copper.
Oh wow!
Well,
So basically,
that
my
is the
bottle
one thing.
needs to go. Thank you.
Yeah. And the second important thing is there is also, we need to check the quality of a copper, because see, in the olden days it was by default the metal.
Everything was pure.
Right now, whatever we are using is too much of recycled copper, so it cannot be the impurities cannot be taken out. So it is one of the important aspect which has to be considered. So what I'm saying is, see, right now where we are in this 21st century, we should not stick to any blind basics, but we need to apply the logics also, that how and when, because as the benefits are also the true, the copper toxicity is also a true, because a lot of people with I'll give an example. So one of the guy, he used this alkaline water into this this copper water, and then it got little reaction, and it had a little bit of health issues. And similarly, one should
So
not put
excessive, it becomes excessive in your body, the metals.
Yeah, and also one should not put the hot water directly into the copper vessel and keep it and store it. So that is also one of the caution one people has to remind of themselves. So these are all the subtle things. So what I'm saying is, overnight soaked, that's 1 glass of water would be okay. And you should not overuse the copper. Again, always check the source of your copper vessel, where it is coming from. So this is one of the checklist for the health. And before one more thing, I forgot your question. The tea, coffee.
The other one was whether we can have, when we wake up, can we have tea with milk in the morning, or can we have your coffee black or with milk, or whatever? People have that. We are very clear with tea or coffee. Some people very rarely go for orange juice, but whether it's a good thing to jumpstart your system is what I'm trying to ask.
You know how the psychology of a man works, or people work, is we always look for the biases, confirmation biases. So we need to get the authentication from the doctor. If he says to drink coffee or tea, it will be good. It's a nice trick, but eventually no. One should not really drink these the beverages or the stimulants in empty stomach. That is literally harms the entire
because of the caffeine that has inside it.
Yes. We won't mind having a couple of cup of tea or coffee in a day, but you should always keep it on post your breakfast, or once in the when there is a little bit of dip in your adrenaline. So that is the time. So every morning waking up, and if you are rushing to the coffee, it's really a no thing, and it leads to a lot of health issues.
It's like an addiction. A lot of people had. My mother suffered with tea in the morning. I come from India as well originally, and my mother, don't come next to my mother until she's had a coffee. Until she had her tea. And I was like that until a very long time, until you guided me right to both of you. But thank you very much, Dr. Madhu. Dr. Ratna, I'm going to come to something which is discussed in my house over and over again, and I'm sure it is discussed amongst all my friends as well. is the big word, the vital. Everybody recommends after a certain age, and I have crossed that certain age, doing a blood test, every 6 months, go and get yourself checked up is a very important thing. And once you have your blood test, I don't know actually if how many people know how to read it. I certainly don't. And you usually look at the tag on the side, which gives you your upper limit and a lower limit, and whether if you're in between, you're like, it's okay, you're clear. So I wanted to specifically ask you, what should one look into reading into a blood test? We can't always be reliable on a doctor, but at least to give us a bit of a general knowledge how your blood test should be, whether if you are deficient in anything. And I would like you to address on B12 and D3 vitamins, which mostly people in this region across the Southeast Asia, Middle East are always deficient in. Moreover, strongly vegetarians. How would you say that, what should we do to help it, and whether whether vitamins are the only way to live your life or not? I know it's a multiple question, but I'm hoping you got the gist of it. Please shoot away and ask me if you didn't.
See, the vitals of the blood, there are many actually, because we only check only 25% of the vitals, which is available, the technology is available, until and unless we go much deeper and we start checking all other trace elements also. Right now, whatever we are checking on the regular basis is hemoglobin or serum ferritin, that is serum iron levels. Sometimes we do check calcium and sodium and potassium as per the electrolytes are there in our body. Renal function tests and liver function tests. Renal is kidney function tests and the liver function tests.
And these are the general basics.
Yeah, these are the basics to know your major organs, how they are functioning. And vitamins like D3 and B12 are regularly being checked over here.
Yes.
Because there is a lot of deficiencies over here. And yes, the deficiencies, because see, that's what I said, we live in a hot country, we are drenched in sun, but the irony is we are deficient. It's a sunshine vitamin D, but we are deficient of vitamin D. It's like irony actually.
Yes, it's very interesting.
Yeah, because why we are having the low vitamin D is because, see, as we are placed a little above the equator, and the UV radiation which will synthesize vitamin D actually begins from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., like 3 p.m., 2 to 3 p.m. So basically we can't go out. Because
I'm not going out. Like me, I'm sure there are a lot of people not going out.
It is hot, scorching sun, and we can't synthesize the vitamin D, much of a vitamin D in the early hours. We can go out, but a minimal amount of vitamin D will be happening. And there is the second thing is our lifestyle. We stay indoors most of the time because of the extreme temperatures. Again, lack of sunlight causes the vitamin D deficiency. These two are the ones with the lifestyle, what I'm talking about. The food, because we are more reliable. The people who are aware of the food, they are eating some of the health conscious, healthy foods. Not them, but most of the people, they are more reliable on the junk food or the fast food because it is quite effective and people can't do without them. So that is one of the major reasons why we are having vitamin D deficiency over here in all the Gulf region, because we are not concentrating what we are eating or what we are feeding to our kids as well. That is one of the major reasons. And how do you rectify this? I'll come to vitamin B12 also.
Yes.
How do we rectify vitamin D deficiencies? Because I'm vegan, so it's very difficult to get vitamin D because it is in the animal sources. The people who are meat eaters or they eat animal produce, they can get actually both the vitamins, vitamin D and B12. But the people who are vegetarian, there is no source. We have to rely on the fortified foods or something like that. One thing, what you need to understand why we are talking today is we need to improve our absorption. That's where the problem starts. When we stop absorbing the vitamins in our body, or when we stop absorbing or synthesizing, like vitamin D is synthesized in our body with the help of cholesterol. So it's not like as there is a fad, like fat is bad. It's not actually bad. You need to know what kind of a good fats you should have so that you can synthesize vitamin D. You might be taking the vitamin D capsules or tablets or sachets or so many thousand international units.
Injections, I think people have that as well.
Yeah, but see, I see patients like every year they have vitamin D deficiency. They go through the course and they take the whole course for 3 months. Again, next year they are suffering. They tell, I took it last year, now I didn't take it. Maybe I'm low in vitamin D. The basic thing, what we need to understand, what we need to ask is why I'm lacking vitamin D. So because we are not absorbing, we are not synthesizing. So that we need to improve. And even in the vitamin B12 is the thing which shows the absorption. Actually, if you are having low vitamin B12, that means you're not absorbing your food or you're not taking the nutrients from your food properly. Because vitamin B12 basically, because I'm a vegetarian, so like there is no animal source in my diet. So how will I take it? It's from the fermented food. You need bacteria to absorb vitamin B12. So if you are lacking in the gut flora, gut bacteria, then you will be lacking the major vitamin B12. And whatever we check nowadays are actually blood level, like what we call as a serum levels. We still don't have the technology to see what it is causing a problems and what array of problems it is causing in our body, not only with physical level, even on the psychological level there will be certain issues. So vitamin D, if you want to go for the vitamin D, always look for the like improve your good fat by having nuts, seeds. So I always tell, go for sunflower, because sunflower, doctrine signature, what I call it, because sunflower, same as sun. So sunflower seeds actually help to synthesize your good cholesterol and help you to absorb or synthesize the vitamin D. Include them in your diet on a daily basis. And in B12, if you're a vegetarian or vegan, go for a fermented food. Like you have to ferment it yourself, not the market one. So there, as an Indian version, there are idlis, dosas, doklas. And if you go to the contemporary or continental versions, there is kimchi, kombucha tea, and sourdough bread. And in Middle East,
it's coming back in the fad, sourdough breads now. All the bakers are trying to get back.
Kefir is one of the source where you can get good bacteria. So grow those bacteria, they will help you.
Would you also recommend walking in the sun early morning on grass? Does that help at all for vitamin D absorption?
Yeah, see, you can. The one thing what you need
the
to
early morning sun, obviously, I'm not talking about
there
the
will
12
be minimal
o'clock.
absorption. See what it actually depends on the skin color also. The more the melanin we have, the more time we need to spend in the sun. So we need to keep that in our mind. And yes, of course, you can walk early mornings in the sunlight. It will actually, if you are tanning in an even way, not a blotchy tan, your skin should tan evenly, then yes, you are synthesizing vitamin D. I do that test on myself also whenever we go on a morning walks. Sometimes I do the blotchy tan on my hands and all. So it shows like you're not absorbing it properly, but even tan, completely tanned, bronze tan, if you are getting that tan from the sun, yes, your absorption of vitamin D is good.
Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Ratna. I'm sure we can go on this particular subject of B12 specifically and D3 forever, but I have still a couple of more questions, and I would really like to also answer this time a lot of our viewers' questions as well. So I'm coming back to you, Dr. Madhu. This is one of my favorite topics for sure personally, but I would really like you to, share some light on it. Sugar, specifically white sugar. It is called one of the most dangerous things these days. And I think it's one of the base causes of a lot of your underlying issues. People have generally, who are aware and who are very diet and nutrition conscious, they say don't have sugar, and they've just started immediately supplementing it with either agave or maple syrup. The easiest, I think, across the globe is honey. People think that replace sugar with honey and your life comes to a better solution, or brown sugar? What is your view on sugar to begin with, and what should be the right substitute for sugar? Because we need sugar, we need that energy as well. So what do you have to say on that?
Okay, first of all, bad news.
I would again recommend Dr. Madhu, if you can speak a little louder, because I think some viewers are unable to hear you.
Okay.
I'm sure they have no problem with my speaking.
The, the bad news is sugar is inflammatory and it is a non-essential thing. So there is no proper alternate for sugar. It's just, the mind game. But still, we have a plenty of natural sources, the fresh fruits, seasonal fruits are the best source of always has been the right source of good carbohydrates, I would say, or fructose. With attached with the fiber, then how that is how it is the natural thing. So as I said, we have a 3 macronutrients, the carbohydrates, fat, and the protein, right? And the liver can produce fat and the sugar, whatever you eat. Even if you eat protein, it can make it the synthesis of fat and the sugar depending on this body's requirement. So essentially, these simple sugars are not at all an essential nutrient. Anyway, it doesn't come into any of those parameters. And in fact, it's the the food industry which has dumped so much of sugar into our lives, so that we cannot get out of it. That's the challenge what we all are facing.
It's a vicious circle at the moment.
And slowly, with a lot of awareness, people are becoming more aware of it. And naturally, yes, honey in a very limited quantity can be used in a day-to-day activities. That too, if somebody is really craving. In fact, I would always go with the fruits. The dates. Dates are an excellent source of sugar. In the complex sugar, the one date is absolutely healthy. It doesn't have any of the negative effects. I would prefer, if somebody has really sweet tooth, I would recommend them to go with the dates rather than the honey. Honey has a medicated value, and one should not take honey in a very excessive quantity. And a lot of people drink with the lemonade, and also in the hot water to reduce the fat. These are all the commonest misconceptions which are widely circulated in the social media, and a lot of people tend to fall for it because we all look for the shortcuts. So that's catch here. And honey should not be eaten heated. A lot of people have that.
Yes, I was just gonna
putting it in a hot cup of a tea or a hot water. Anyway, honey should not be heated, because these also the grilling and stuff like that, they produces a lot of the polycyclic carbon molecules, which are very toxic. Some people in the restaurant, fancy restaurants, they just brush off with the crust of the food, and they heat it with too much of heat. So they're all toxic. So honey should not be heated. So I would say honey.
I would say it becomes poisonous, right? If you cook with honey, whether you glaze something with honey, is what you were saying. Yeah. But what about the other substitutes, like your maple syrup, your stevia, your agave syrup? So there is a good, in India we have good, which is your jaggery. Would you say any of that substitute would be maybe a healthier option?
See, it's just a mind game. As I said, sugar, as I said, even if it is a brown sugar, the industry is keeping one step always ahead of what people are thinking, So if we'll come to that, the point of reading the labels. So if we always tell people to read the labels, there are a lot of, do you know that there are 56 different names for the sugar? There are 56 names.
This is something I did not know. It's amazing.
So it can trick you. Okay, there is no sugar, white sugar. They can make it as a fructose or maltose or lactose or galactose. There are different names, And coming to the sugar-free, they are much more dangerous. They are all carcinogenic. It has proven a lot of fatality into the people. So this, what you're talking, agave, and also this aspartame. The sugar-free.
Stevia. I think stevia is there.
Though stevia is a plant product, but it has a very serious, ill effects on the health. So sugar-frees are just again a marketing technique to keep people hooked up to their products. So this is all the thing what I'm saying. So
a lot of my friends who are watching are bakers, by the way. They are not going to be about this because baking industry runs very strongly on sugar, and you have taken all their options away. You can't basically bake with nothing sweet in it.
see, that's what I'm saying. See, we always have an indulgence, right? But when it becomes too
It's a
much,
craving. It's a constant. This
it's
is a
yes.
vicious circle, as you
So,
said. You want one and then you want another one.
absolutely, absolutely. See, sugar is very addictive. We all know that, correct? So, what I'm saying, I'm not saying please don't enjoy your life or don't eat the bakery food, but have it in your own limit. You know,
Yeah.
have it that way to cut. Okay, not two or three. Where to draw the line? We all have to be a little more aware of our choices. That's it. That's it. So,
Okay, perfect. So this is not the 100% answer none of us wanted, but I would
yeah,
say anything in limitations and balance is what
yes.
Dr. Madhu would suggest. Dr. Ratna, I'm going to go parallel to what Dr. Madhu said. This, as a mother and as a person who's very conscious, because I've been through a lot of health scares in my life, with me, myself, as well as a lot of my family members, we don't know this, which is your supermarket basic shopping labels. We have no clue how to read them. We are so attracted to fat-free nutrition, low fat, or directly go for a substitute of that, which is again probably more synthetic. So what are the things that you would say that we should read in a label, which is okay to consume, and what is a big no-no, we should run 1,000 miles away? I know there's a whole industry of palm sugar as well, which is a big no-no. So I would like you to highlight a bit on the do's and don'ts, and what are the main key words. We may not be scientists to read everything, but what are the key words we should 100% avoid in any of the supermarket packagings?
See, when we go to the shopping or any grocery shop, we always, like, apart from the raw food products like fruits or vegetables or
The
any kind
fresh,
of grains or
yeah,
pulses, we go for the packaged food. We always, like, there is a tendency because 95% of the market is packaged food. It
huge
can be
industry.
anything. Yeah, it's a huge industry. It can be
Yeah,
anything. Like, you can't really just escape it.
yeah,
It's there, always there. So when you are going for, like, we are not saying no for the packaged food. It's just you be educated about the packaging,
yes,
what
yeah,
it is. They are already mentioned it, like it's already mentioned on the label, like what they are putting in it. So you
yeah.
just need to be aware, like what you are buying for yourself or what you're feeding your family. The first thing what you need to look for is trans fats, saturated and unsaturated fats. There is a mention, like there will be always, the trick
Per
is,
100 grams or per
yeah, there
50
will be
grams.
zero.
Yeah.
Trans fat free is the one thing, marketing word, they will use it. But when you go for the ingredients, they will put hydrogenated oils. If you want, you can put it down. Like, you should never buy the foods which are using hydrogenated oils. Hydrogenated
Yeah.
palm oil, there are so many kinds of different kinds of oils they are using nowadays. There is hydrogenated palm oil, which is ultra refined, so that they give that kind of a taste and flavor to the food. There is refined cottonseed oil is being used in lots of Indian savories and sweets, even breads and biscuits. It is being used. So these are the things which should not be there in your food. And the second thing what you need to check is about the sugar, the daily value of sugar. Like, actually sugar is not, it's the invisible sugar what we are talking, because you don't see.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can understand if you're putting a teaspoon or a two in your tea and coffee, that is visible, like you know how much sugar you are eating. But
Yeah.
the biscuits and breads or muffins, you don't know, you really don't know how
Even your
much.
pastas, your
Yeah,
processed
you don't,
pastas, your
processed
packets that
pasta,
you
you
buy.
don't know how much sugar you are eating. Go and check the label. They will be mentioning per serving how much gram of sugar they have put it, and for the whole of it, like 100 grams, how much sugar you are consuming it. That's one of the biggest thing what you should check. And usually they will be using high fructose corn syrup in different names, like
Yeah.
dextrose or maltose. These kind of a names will be there, but
Yeah.
this is the one thing which is highly used because it is easily available, it's very cheap.
Yeah.
So you need to use the high fructose corn syrup, like that has to be not there in your diet, because that's one of the reasons for cholesterol, cardiovascular disorders, and it's carcinogenic. So that you should not buy. Then the third one, what we usually check is a sodium value, sodium
Yes,
value.
salt. Yes.
Salt, yeah, because salt is not only for the taste, they will be adding it as a preservative, they will be adding it as a taste enhancer, because sodium glutamate is a sodium, and sodium bromate is sodium again. Sodium isolate is sodium, and sodium chloride, obviously salt, sodium. So you will be consuming more salt or more sodium. And if you are going for any kind of a sugar-free food or the foods which are sodium less, better stick to look at the value of sodium. Even the cornflakes, I saw the Kellogg's corn. I should not name it.
Yes. No, but any form of cereals that we have in the morning,
Yeah,
whether
the
it's
daily
any
cereal
company, Nestle,
cornflakes,
Kellogg's,
yeah,
anything
the
in the
brand
world.
food
Yeah.
or anything like that. So
Yeah.
what they do is they do mention it like a healthy and it will help you to lose weight. It'll do that and this, but the sodium content in them is literally very high. So you need to check
Even the
about
sugar content in them is very, very high. The cereals, the Cheerios or whatever, whichever
Cheerios
flavor.
for the children, actually they make it extra sweet. That you
Yes.
need to understand, and we need to understand, especially the children food, because they add these sugar-free things, aspartame and saccharins. They
Yeah.
are really very bad for health because they will be taking, they attack the central nervous system at times.
Yeah.
So not so good for the body. So that
Yeah.
those things should not be used. This is what you should follow.
Yeah. Yeah.
As far as other things, the labeling is concerned, or other foods are concerned, just use the common sense, because you can just check the quality and you can buy other products.
I think reading label is a science by itself to understand, maybe later on we can have a seminar on that as well, to understand your product and your label, what can be consumed, what cannot be consumed, and of course at which season as well.
Yeah.
But thank you so much to both the doctors. I can go on and on. I have a whole list of questions, but we are almost reaching the time, and I would still like to answer a few questions. We've got abundant of questions that are coming in. So just excuse me, I'm going to read a few. Somebody has asked, what is the ideal oil that can be used for my family and me to cook in? So if any one of you would like to answer that question for it, what oil is good for salads, what oil is good for cooking, and what type, and obviously there's a lot to it, but if any one of you would like to highlight on it.
It's very simple. You go for filtered oils. Very simple, and stick to your nature, like your region where you came from, because that's what your body can digest. So I usually ask my patients whether they are from any part, any region, which region they belong. If you are belonging to the Mediterranean region, you can digest olive oil much better. If you are belonging to other continent, then you will be digesting other oils much better. But whatever oil you are consuming, make sure it is filtered, not too refined.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you. Dr. Madhu, I would like to ask you, somebody has asked, can we have multivitamins or Chavantras to boost our immunity?
Well, I think last time we spoke in length about the immunity. As that is, immunity is something which is qualitative. It's not just a quantitative thing. So, of course, Chyawanprash is one of the best source of immune modulating, source from the Ayurvedic industry. Yes, you can have it. And also the multivitamins, if you are already having certain supplements, always check whether, they are in the, whether you're taking it without
the right amount
or anything. Just cross check with the physician and then continue it. Okay,
perfect. Shri Tattva, I'm going to solicit here a bit, but Shri Tattva also has a very good quality Chyawanprash. My children do have it every day to boost their immunity. Another patient has asked, diabetic people, if I'm diabetic and if anybody in my family is diabetic, what fruits would you suggest which are ideal for a diabetic patient? What kind of fruits should they consume? Dr. Ratna, would you like to say that? So we'll go with the alternate flow.
No, it's okay if he has the answer.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, Dr. Ratna.
Yeah. See, diabetes, like most of the diabetes, like 80% of the diabetic patients are lifestyle disorders actually. So when it is a lifestyle disorder, rectify your lifestyle, you will be much better and you can enjoy most of the fruits. Like there should not be, that's what I told in the beginning. Ayurveda doesn't say no, it just says how. And if you are really diabetic, then go for the low glycemic index fruits. For example, papaya. Papaya is a low glycemic index. Pineapples are low glycemic index. Cherries, strawberries are low glycemic index. Apples are low glycemic index. So you can have these fruits. And the ones which are in higher glycemic index, like bananas and mangoes, you need to, like, if you want, have a slice of it, but don't just indulge in those kind of fruits.
Okay, perfect. Dr. Madhu, I'm going to come back. I'm going to ask you this. Somebody has asked bakery products such as brown bread, whole wheat grain bread, wheat bread, multigrain bread, and protein-based bread. Would you say should be consumed or should not be consumed? I mean, I'm assuming bread in general with different dietary, rye bread, and you get a lot depending on which baker you go to.
Generally, this comes under the refined flour. Okay, we avoid refined products, refined oils, refined fats, and refined flour, like that.
Yeah.
But
which is maida as well, because while I'm speaking, somebody's put on maida as well, which is obviously again refined flour. It's all-purpose flour.
So maida is no, it's a refined product. But in breads, we have a very different good qualities of bread, like what you mentioned, rye bread and different
sourdoughs,
brown breads, and if
sourdough soda breads.
They are blessed with a good source of natural, the breads which are having the whole meal bread. So they can be used in moderation. Of course, it's a good option.
I would say most breads nowadays, if you see most bakers in most restaurants across the globe who are genuinely restaurants, are suggesting to go back to the basics of the old ways of making bread, which uses live starters at home. It's not a packeted yeast that you put on your bread. So I think making fresh bread at home, lockdown is a fantastic time. I'm struggling with it, but I've not given up on learning how to make a perfect bread. I have to admit. Dr. Ratna, I'm going to ask you, somebody's asked debate between rock salt or the regular salt. Which is the best salt that would you suggest if one has to consume it in cooking?
See, what happens is salt, if you're consuming both either sea salt or pink salt, it's perfectly fine. Don't go for the chemical formula of NaCl, that is table salt, because that is in fact a chemical formula of NaCl iodized. So better go for the salt which has more minerals. Even rock salt, that is the Himalayan pink salt, it has more minerals. But if you have a deficiency of iodine, see that you need to take a call, because if you are having any kind of a thyroid issues, then rock salt or Himalayan salt may not suit you because it is not fortified with iodine. So you need to go for the sea salt, because naturally iodine is present in the sea salt. So that's how you need to manage the salt issues. But anyways, either of these salt you need to consume less.
Basically, as go for natural as possible. Dr. Madhu, I'm going to come back to you. It is funny, you had already covered this question, but I think somebody still had this question, that when you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing one should consume?
A glass of water.
Okay. Yeah, that's the first thing. Okay, perfect. I think that's amazing and brief. So I hope it answers our viewers' question. Somebody had a question saying, what is the first thing we consume? Another question that we had is, can we drink virgin coconut oil 1 teaspoon every day? I think I know who this viewer is. I can't see their name, but I can predict who this person is, if it is somebody from my family. Virgin coconut oil 1 teaspoon every day.
Yeah, they can take
cold pressed. I'm assuming. I'm sorry, I missed the word cold pressed.
Yeah, virgin is cold pressed. Yeah, they can have.
Yeah, so that's good for your health.
Yeah, that's good for your health. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. How does cold drinks, basically sodas, I would not like to name brands, but your carbonated drinks affect your health in a negative way? Of course, they have all sugar, and we've gone in detail about sugar. But apart from that, how else does it have a negative effect on your health, if somebody's asked?
See, the temperature of the drink itself Like if we go to the basics,
Yeah.
the temperature is cold, cold drink,
Mhm.
cold, that actually alkalizes your body and like makes your body more, put more effort in digesting that thing. And if you
Yeah.
are having it as a meal, then it is going to, like, because it is a zero nutritional value. So you're
Mhm.
pushing yourself towards the malnourishment. And if you're
Yeah.
having it after meal, you're adding calories, because
Mhm.
either ways it will be calorific food.
Yeah.
That way, like, it's a general thing. Again, how it troubles the organs is in a different level. If we go to the different level, how carbonated drinks trouble the organs is like how it alkalizes our acid and all that
Yeah.
is a
Yeah.
different level of a study. But
Yeah.
basic cold drinks
In
do
general,
have a,
anything which has ice in it or cold in it, which
yeah.
people do ask, and we have water also with ice. Yeah, you
Yeah.
would
See,
say a bit.
it does affect the nervous stimulation of our body. So it's better at a room temperature. I tell everybody, enjoy whatever you want at room temperature.
Perfect. Somebody has asked this. I think a couple of people have asked this question, so I'm going to combine two people's question, which is, I am on a diet, and I'm avoiding to have carbohydrates. So um, should I avoid rice completely from my meal and only substitute to quinoa, or I should avoid any on every form of rice, which is white rice, brown rice, red rice, black rice, any form of basically grain.
Well, honestly, rice is not a bad thing, but it is just, somehow victimized with the thing.
I'm a
So,
rice eater. I'm very happy
yeah.
you said that.
So, as I said, it's wrongly been, accused of increasing the sugar levels and all the things. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, even if you eat the other grains, all grains have the carbohydrates. So they
Yeah.
are the starch carbohydrates. So it will take little time to break in the system. So it is good for health. Okay. What is bad for a people is the simple carbs, like what we talked about, aerated drinks, juices. They have a different pathway in the overall digestion of system.
Yeah.
So complex carbs, like what we talked about, quinoas
Hmm.
or millets and this rice and all, it's okay. But again, the portion is the key. It's not that we always eat
Of
too much of
course.
simple. We can definitely eat and enjoy the rice. It's not a problem.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you one more question. Somebody has asked. Okay, this is hilarious, but it's a true answer, a true question. Should we have any dessert? And dessert should be consumed before and after a
I would say enjoy.
meal. Specifically now during the lockdown, enjoy, go have your dessert. But
See,
before and after a meal, culturally, we usually people always have after a meal. But would you say it should be consumed before and after a meal? I can so imagine my son and my nephews asking this question.
see, dessert usually, actually, as Ayurveda says, it is before the, like, we have to begin with the sweets. That's per Ayurveda. But as per the Western cuisine or Western culture influences us, it is after the meal. Like, we all go for that sweet taste after the food. See, when you are doing it, either ways, however you like it, you do it. But keep in mind moderation. Moderation is the key,
Mm.
and choose the ingredients uh, consciously with
Yeah,
awareness and
and
enjoy. Yeah, enjoy guilt
portion
free.
control, right? You would say you have the right amount of portion control to your
Yeah,
sugar,
yeah,
and you should know
yeah.
when to start and when to.
That's what I say to everybody. They should have the food freedom, like basic
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. This is interesting. Somebody's asked, people have this myth that you should always consume tea or coffee black without any mixers. Would you say having tea or coffee with milk is good? Is okay whenever, even if you have it once a day, or I think a lot of coffee, they have the milk aid, or they put a little bit of any form of
Cream.
cream in it. So would you suggest black is better, means consume the way it is, whether it's a tea or coffee, or would you say with having a little bit of milk is okay with it? Dr. Madhu, you can tell me this.
I think, I want to tell everybody one more thing. We are going too much, microscopic in the things, and we ruin the fun of a life. What I'm saying is, enjoy whatever you do, guilt free. Be guilt free. I mean, it doesn't mean that you take it as a
Yeah, of
granted thing,
course.
but
Yeah.
whenever we having a little bit of milk and enjoying a good cup of tea is not a big issue. But we
Yeah.
need to understand the state and stage of our health. If somebody is already sick, if somebody has a high fever, if you drink a milk tea, or if you already have a congestion cold, if you drink a milk tea, definitely it is going to bother you, right? At that
Yeah.
time, avoid it. When you're normally healthy, having a good time with family and all, have it. It's with genuinely have with the proper things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you have to the I would not like to use the word poison, but the bad thing in this is how much amount of sugar you're going to consume with that tea or coffee in it. If you can
Yeah,
control,
see, as
if you can control
Ratna
that.
said, we have two things. One is the visible sugar, which we all are very
Yes.
cautious about. That's
Yeah.
okay. 1 cup, 2 cups is okay.
Yeah.
That's not an issue. I think we can
Yeah.
have a good time.
Dr. Ratna, I would like to close with you as well. There are a couple, I mean, the questions are coming in, but we will try our best to answer as much as we can. What is the right time to consume fruits? And is it okay to have a glass of warm milk before I go to bed?
Yeah. Fruits usually should be consumed sun up until sundown. That's the best time, not after sundown, because that's how the fructose works better with the sun in the sky.
Yeah.
So fruits should be consumed in between the intervals, but don't mix your food and fruits together, because there's a whole lot of science behind about the combination of fruits and other things actually. Consume fruits alone. Mostly consume fruits alone as a midday snack would be much better. Like after you post your breakfast, maybe at 11 o'clock, 11:30, if you are feeling a little hungry, you can go for fruits at that point of time, or in the evening hours, early evening hours, like 4 o'clock or 4:30, you can go for the fruits. That would be much better for them. And bedtime milk, oh, it's fine. It's fine. They can have it. Only thing is, actually like always go for the weather conditions. If it is cold weather, milk actually acts in a much soothing. It soothes our body, helps our body to relax.
Warm milk, you mean a warm milk, not cold milk.
Yeah, warm milk in cold weather would be much better. But in summers, it is not like it is not better to have more of a fatty food. So milk or any kind of a dairy, because it has fat in it, natural fat. So it's not advisable during summers. Winters, it's highly advisable to have that kurkuma latte.
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much to both of you, Doctor, for your valued time and answering all our questions. I am sure we can go on for hours and hours, but I think it's a wrap for us today. Thank you so much to our viewers for joining in and always supporting us and encouraging us. You make our lives easier and make it fun. I think these guys are the most coolest doctors ever. They do like to tell you have a healthy, happy life, so it's fantastic to have that. And once again, I would really like to thank Rafiq for all your support. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much for your support and your encouragement. I would do like our viewers to go and see their Rafiq website as well as their app. They're absolutely convenient. I use them a lot for anything, whether it's from a mask to a larger product. So thank you so much, Rafiq, for supporting us. I would like to say our viewers, please stay indoors, stay safe, be conscious. Let's support each other and get the curve down. And have a happy good night. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good thought is a seed of great innovation that transforms people's lives for the better. This saw the innovation of a perfect blend of ancient Ayurveda with modern science to make the world healthier and happier. This was the foundation of Shri Shri Tattva. Shri Shri Tattva makes more than 350 products across personal care, food, healthcare, and home care categories. These products are inspired by the science of life, Ayurveda, and are well researched by our team of experienced doctors. Our 100% vegetarian products are tested for their safety and efficacy. Our facilities in India have earned the most prestigious certifications for manufacturing, quality, and control. This is what makes these products apt for you. These daily use Shri Shri Tattva products and services like pulse diagnosis technique, Nadi Pariksha. Wellness centers and spas help you enhance your complete. Happy to connect with you all. Shri Shri Tattva, just purity.